Hi, welcome to today's CAD lesson. In today's exercise, we would model this exhaust manifold. If you would have any comments, questions, concerns, or contributions, you can leave them down in the comment section below. I would respond to them as soon as possible. Let's go ahead and begin with today's exercise. We will get a worksheet, new up here. This is going to be a part we will be working in millimeters, and so we select the standard millimeter IPT template and create. At this point, I'll change the background color. It's okay if you have the light color. I don't. I have the presentation. So I'll go into tools under application options. Under the color, I am going to change to light and apply. I can close this for now. Now I'll go back into the 3 model tab so we can begin to create our sketch. Now let's take a good look at the model again. This is how we want to tackle this model. We would first create this, and that for that we will use the sweep command. We know that to sweep we need a profile and a path. So that is what we would create now. First we would create the path. Let me go back into our worksheet. We will then pick the 2D sketch command and create the sketch on the XY plane. I mentioned we are creating the path. We will pick the line command. Let's draw this geometry. You can right click and then OK. We want to put a coincident constraint to say that put the middle of this line at the origin, and we will dimension. The length of this line is going to be 600. Let me double click the scroll mouse button and even zoom in. Also, this is going to be 250. Let's enter that. You can right click and OK for now. Let me just drag this dimension out of the way. OK. And we want to apply a fillet. And so the fillet command, the fillet radius is going to be 100 to this corner. So I'll select those 2 lines that make up the corner and close this. Now you can finish the sketch. So we draw our profile. Double click the scroll mouse button. The profile is going to be at this point. For that reason, we need a plane to sketch on. Let's drop down the plane options and pick the one that says normal to curve at a point. And it says this creates a work plane perpendicular to a curve and through a vertex, edge, midpoint, sketch point, or work point. That is exactly what we want. I'll select that and put it at the point. I would also select the plane by clicking again. You can even click on this line rather. Now let's select the plane and create a sketch on it. We will pick the circle command. Let's draw our first circle of diameter 110 and enter. We would offset that to a distance of 5 and enter that. We can finish now. We are ready to sweep, and so the sweep command, let's pick the profile we want to sweep, which is going to be this, and it says we should select the path. I would click on that and pick the path. Okay, and I think everything is fine. The preview looks good, and so we can OK. Let me go back into the sketch so we know which feature we are creating next. We would want to create this feature next. Okay, now let's go back into our work. I will select this face and create a sketch on there. Let me turn this around with this arrow and even use my scroll mouse button to zoom in. First of all, let me project some geometries which are going to be this and that. I would pick the circle command. Let me draw a circle here. I would also do another one and put an equal constraint between the circle and that one, also between this and the smaller circle, and apply the constraint, which is going to be a horizontal one, to align the midpoint of the origin and the circle I have just drawn. You can now right click and then OK. We will dimension the distance between the origin and the center point of the circles we've drawn as 170 and enter. That would fully constrain the circles. Now we can finish this sketch and extrude. The extrude command. The profile we first of all want to extrude is going to be this larger circle. Make sure you are selecting that. I would reverse the direction of extrusion around and define the distance of that extrusion with the option that says to next. Okay, it is going to extrude that to the next body it sees, which is going to be this sweep profile we did. Now let's click on the plus sign so we can extrude cut this other profile as well. And so I'll select that. It is going to be a cut. We want to define that cut not with the two next option, but rather the two. Let's turn this around. So we select the surface we want it to extrude to. Let's pick that surface. So straight away we see that there is a hole in there. You can OK. And let me get the isometric view. Let's even halve this so we see what we've done. So go into view and pick the half section view. Open out the default planes and say that we want to have this along the XY plane. So yeah, that is it. We have some holes in there. Let's close this so we can continue. Now we want to create patterns of this feature we have done. Let's go back into the 3D model tab and pick the rectangular pattern command up here. I will select that. The feature we want to pattern is going to be this one. And let's pick the direction we want that feature to go. I can pick this circular axis. Also, for how many I want, which are the counts. I want 4 of them, including the one I have already. And the distance between them should be 170. But that is moving away from our sketch, and so I'll flip the direction around. Okay, I needed 3 rather. Let me change this to 3. That is excellent, and so we can OK. Oh, we failed to add this hole. So just open up the rectangular pattern again by double clicking. And for the features, we would hold down Control key and add extrusion 2. Now we can OK. There we go. Now we would create the last feature. Let's go back into our reference model, which is going to be this flange. So we'll just create one of them and create a rectangular pattern to get the rest. Let's go back into our own model. For that, I will select this face and create a sketch on it. Let me zoom in. Let's first of all project this very circle and offset that to a distance of 20. We would enter that. Now we will pick the circle command. Let me pan down and draw 2 circles here. I will dimension this as 50. That is the diameter. And let me zoom in and select the other one, so I can also dimension that one as 30 and enter. I would now put a vertical relationship between the center point of that circle and the origin, and also dimension the distance between these 2 points as 120. Let's enter that. Next, I will pick the line command. Let me draw a line to connect this to that. Make sure you are not locking onto this very point here. That divides the circles into 2, but yeah, anyway here should be fine. Then apply the tangential relationship between this bigger circle and that one, also between this and that. Now I'll pick the line command. Let me draw a line here. You can right click, restart, also draw another vertical line from the origin. Now we'll select these 2 and make them constructional. I want to use them to mirror. And so the mirror command, the profiles we want to mirror, I'll just click and drag over these 2 circles and also this line. The mirror line is going to be the horizontal constructional line. Let's apply and done. I'd also want to mirror these 2 slanted lines. Let me pick the mirror command again. I'll select these 2 lines. The mirror line is going to be the vertical line. Let's apply and done. Now we can finish this. Double click the scroll mouse button and extrude the extrude command. Let me select those profile I want to extrude, which is going to be this, that, also this. Let me pick this and that as well. The distance of this extrusion, I can do 10 and OK. Now we can create the rectangular pattern of what we've created. Let's pick the rectangular pattern command. Let's select that extrusion, which is going to be this one. As the feature, the direction we want it to go along can be this. We want 3 of them, no 4 rather, and we want to space them as 170. The preview looks fine, and so we can OK. Our model is ready. Let's give this an appearance. I'll drop down the appearance options and change this to the one that says light red. Now, and the view, let's give this a shadow. We'll add a reflection and a ground plane if we want to. Let's see at the front, at the top, and also on the side. All right. Okay, so that will be it for this tutorial. I hope you find this helpful. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can consider doing so. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or contributions, you can leave them down in the comment section. I will respond to them as soon as possible. Don't forget to share this with your card friends and also save this. I'll see you soon in the next tutorial. Bye.